Okay.
Okay.
Ready.
Hello.
Hi. With some
Finally.
initial trouble, but here we are, and we're going to record our conversation.
Yes, finally. I mean, there's been something between our connections that it doesn't work, but if if you believe it, you're gonna make it. So that's why we're here. And we are hoping that all the people that were interested, like you're gonna look at this, we're gonna drop the link on our stories on Instagram, and you will be able to watch the recording from the YouTube.
Yes.
So yeah, well, thank you so much, Cristina, for making time on your busy life with your beautiful life around horses in Ecuador for coming together to talk about horses and energy.
No, thank you so much for inviting me. You know that I always love talking to you. We had our first podcast experience in Dubai in a very professional studio, and then, and then on Instagram, which is, a little tricky. But no, I love talking to you about these things. So thank you for
Yeah.
having me again.
Of course, the podcast, by the way, is gonna go out soon. I still have everything. It's just that I'm working on something bigger, but definitely it's going out. I have everything ready. And yeah, so for all of those that doesn't know Cristina, so from my side, I will just say a few words, but then I'll let her introduce herself, which there's nobody better than her to do so. But Cristina has been my mentor for Mars Method or Horse Guided Empowerment. You may have heard it in my channels. And so she's the founder of the method, and she's certified hard math trainer, so she can train you on that modality. She's a psychologist, and the rest of her certifications she will let you know about. But above all of this, she's a woman that I would say thrives for a passion and a dream and works hard to. Well, she has worked very hard to be where she is. She literally lives in one of these dream houses that you would imagine in the beautiful Ecuador countryside, surrounded by the horses around the house, and she wakes up with the beautiful views of the mountains and the horses. So she is really living the dream of any person that loves horses and nature. And so an amazing person and a believer, and that's why you do the work you are doing. So I'll let you now continue.
Well, that was a really perfect introduction. I don't know what to add. Well, I'm a mom of 3 teenagers. They were all homeschooled, but 2 are graduated now, so the next year is going to be a lot easier. And yes, I set audacious goals, and then I achieve them without, going through the probable through the probable way. And what you did not mention, and what is actually taking a lot of my time these days, is my nonprofit organization. I have a nonprofit therapy center here in town, and we
Yeah,
just
right.
achieved, sin miedo, no fear. So we do counseling there for the general public, and a lot of the sessions are subsidized, and we have free support groups. And we just achieved legal status last year in December, and since then it has been an endless struggle with bureaucracy and accounting and legal stuff and all of that admin to get it. Well, I mean, it is running. The center is running. We just have to meet more and more and more requirements, and that is a little tiring. But
That
but
you
well,
are you will do it. I have no doubt. But it is crazy, to see like when you try to do something for the world, for the community, and all these like obstacles that you have. That is something that sometimes it can put you down. But at the end
yeah.
of the day, you have to, like what drives you is the passion, is the dream, is the vision. That's what we need to go back to, the anchor of this emotion, higher emotion than the problems that you may encounter, the challenges, right?
Yes.
So you'll do
Yes,
it.
and always, I think it's, as you said, I have big dreams and I put a lot of energy in it, and then it usually works out. But then in every step there is always something energetic that can also hold us back. So, for example, money, right? Making money or not making money, how much you are allowing yourself to make, I just learned that when women make a lot of money, they do a lot of good. So they donate, I don't know, like 80% more than men. And I'm seeing that right now. I need to increase my earnings so that I can also help the foundation better and not always struggling with the time between doing this or doing the nonprofit or doing the for-profit. And then, the feelings as mothers or as a woman per se, or there's so much going on in our energetics. So it just never
Mm.
stops. We always have to check back with that and learn more.
Yeah, and I think the topic of today is very interesting to me because, well, for me, like I'm all about energy, and when I say that, it's just because, well, some of the people know, but for whoever is new to me, I did introduce myself, but I'm not gonna go into detail. But I did had a trauma in my brain. I had a brain injury, and I recover with conventional medicine, but also with energetic healing. And that's what I know for sure that he'll cure me 100% for different reasons. But since then, and even if I look back into my life, like energy has always been a big part of me of connecting to something bigger and greater than our environment itself, connecting to something that you don't know well how to describe, but it makes you feel whole, that if you belong, right? Some people in the religion and being very respectful, like what the way they believe in God, they make them feel that they always have somebody, right? So energy can also make you feel this way when you are very connected, that because you know you belong to the whole and that you are connected, so you're never alone, right? Somehow,
Yeah. Yeah.
as we are all energy, and we just vibrate in different frequencies. So water and air are definitely frequencies that are almost transparent, whereas we are very tangible, right? Like many other things in the world. But at the end, it's all atoms,
Yes. Yes.
atoms in
Yeah.
materia.
Yes. Electricity. Well, in heart math, as you said, I'm a heart math trainer, so their their findings, their studies also go around the electricity of beings. So our heartbeat is an electric signal, tiny
Mhm.
but still electric signal, and that translates into an electromagnetic field. And it's not only something that people have. Everybody who has a heart, dogs, cats, horses, and also plants have electricity within their. I don't know anything about that. Maybe you know more about it. So it is all energy,
They're
and
big.
it's all connected. Yeah.
Mm. The same with the brain, right? When we have a thought, we are
Yes.
producing a
An
frequency
electric signal.
with
Yes.
an electromagnetic
Hmm.
signal around
Yeah.
us as well. So it's really everything. And one of the most amazing things that you learn when you start digging into energy from the physics side, so from a very scientific point of view, is that energy cannot be destroyed, it only transforms,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So, and it can transform sometimes into sound, so it really kind of, it just transforms, it doesn't disappear. So
Mhm.
that says a lot because it's
Yes.
always there, right? When something can really disappear,
It's
like,
always there. It's always connected to the earth
yes.
and the magnetic field of the earth. And
Mm.
it's also, and I don't really understand that. I do believe it, but I don't really understand it. It's not bound to certain places. It's not depending on a location. So you know everything about energetic healing, distance, Reiki. That is also part of this whole energetic conversation.
Yes.
And I have felt it myself. I know that it works. I just don't know how.
Well, it's difficult to explain, but again, if we go to a very basic state, is again that everything is energy and everything is made of atoms, 8 atoms, and then that there are frequencies and vibrations. So frequencies are almost like channels. They are like channels, right?
Mhm.
So if everything, your heartbeat, your thoughts, and your feelings have a frequency, then
Mhm.
when you are feeling in this way, you are tuning into this channel in the world, right? That
Mhm.
is carrying this information in this frequency. So that's how it works. So for example, if you are feeling I don't know, like pity for yourself, and you are thinking that I'm not good, and then you feel pity, then you are vibrating into this frequency. So you are connected to the field, and you will most likely attract
Yeah.
the same thing to you, right?
Yeah.
So that's why when people say the law of attraction, well, it does make sense because you are communicating, you are talking
Yeah.
this language, this vibration. So many people, they want to attract money, for instance, what we were just discussing, but they are doing it from a feeling of lack.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? If you feel that you are poor and you continue with the same song saying, I don't have money, I cannot do this, everything are challenges, like you are trying to create money abundance from a frequency of lack, and
Yeah,
this
scarcity.
is not
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
happen. You
Yeah.
have to change your frequency. You have to change your thoughts and change the frequency in order to have the money, right? And I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, I could talk about that for a long
Yeah,
time, but
that's
it is,
another conversation about like manifesting and how you can manifest the good and the bad and what frequency
yeah.
you need to be in. Yes, very interesting though. Very interesting
Yeah, it
conversation.
is. But when it comes to energy, Christina, what is your experience? Because you've been with horses for a long time, and I've been now like almost over 4 years, I think, already delivering fantastic private, corporate, and retreats with horses with your very unique method. And so I know that you know what I'm talking about when I say about energy, energetic talk, energetic connection. So what is it one moment that you say like, okay, this in this moment I felt like really, really, really connected. I could understand, from inside what energy is.
Actually, I would say it happened logically in a different moment that I was not even present because as you said, I have a very long history with horses. I grew up with horses next door, and they helped me a lot in shaping my character and becoming more myself, finding my voice, overcoming anxiety and all of that. But I've always doubted. So I've had moments when I go and sit with my herd, and they shift and they change, and I can do therapy with them, and I feel how my own energetic levels change. I can hear their telepathic communication, but I would always doubt it a little bit, like, am I talking myself into something here?
Mm.
But I had an experience with a student a few years ago who worked with wild mustangs, and she said she had a private course with me, and I was a little concerned about teaching her everything about the horse handling. Wild mustangs, that's a little different of a game than a domesticated horse in a riding barn. And the mustangs lived on a huge property, so the main problem was, okay, so how can you make sure that the Mustangs will stay with you or come when you are there? And she said, don't worry about that. I'm, tuning into that frequency, and I have the energetics of wanting to be with them once I leave my house, and that will work. And I was like, okay, like good luck. Let's see. And it did actually work. It did
Mm.
actually work. She started to communicate with them and be in that energetics of, we are going to do something together. And the Mustangs showed up where they were supposed to show up over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
then it was like, okay, there's nothing that I can talk into this. It's
Mm.
that I'm not planning it somehow. That is something purely based on energetics, telepathy, communication with the horses.
Yeah, exactly. So when people used to ask me like how Reiki works, so a Reiki session I call it now energy healing because I created something a little bit different with all the learnings that I had. but even Reiki or energy healing, like whoever has an experience, a physical experience where I can put my hands, they can
Mhm.
have, they can understand, okay, there is some warmth coming from the body, it's more physical. But they would ask me like, how do the energy healing in distance work? But that's the thing, when you are tuning into somebody, you are projecting that thought,
Mhm.
you are tapping into this frequency. So I always say like energy is a way of communicating the same way we
Yeah.
communicate with our body language or with our verbal communication or yeah, or written
Mhm.
communication. So it is also, but you have to also learn how to do it, right? We have learned how to talk, we have learned how to control as well a little bit our body if we want to project one thing or another. And tapping into energy is not something that they have taught us since we were born. But if we go back in time and if we look as well at very connected cultures, they have been extremely connected to nature and to everything, and between themselves. And I think one of the I think no, I know that one of the incredible things of horses and animals in general is that they are communicating through energy. And
Mhm.
one of the reasons is that they, first of all, they are not like us. Of course, we have this big neocortex, this very analytical mind where we just put a lot of clutter in our mind to really think clearly connected to how we feel. But horses don't have that, right? They are very clear
Mhm.
on what it is. I mean, they are prey animals as well, so
Yeah.
they are always with their instinct of survival always there, and that also make them be very connected. But I remember, if I'm not wrong, horses can have in a moment of connectedness, of calmness, they can have an electromagnetic field of, is it 15 meters, I
Yeah.
think, around
It's
them.
not it's not really clear how big, but
Yeah.
it's about 15 meters. And then I think that when several horses are together, there has to be like an exponential growth of that
Yes,
as they are
exactly.
connected in the herd. Yes. Yes. Yeah. And
Ex-
so what I usually tell people is that horses communicate through emotions, and then emotions are energy, are energetic states of being. But for those who are listening and are like, what do you even mean with energy? So, well, emotions translate into a different heartbeat, and that has an electric signal, and that creates an electromagnetic field. And all
Exactly.
that is energy in its biggest
Yeah.
sense. But you can also think about communication through emotions, if that is easier to grasp, like instead of imagining, like energy, where is it flowing around? So emotions create fields, and the horses will not say something. You don't receive words or not even pictures maybe, but you
Yeah.
receive emotions or an energetic state that you
Yeah.
can receive, you can answer to it, and they also listen to ours. And with
Mm-hmm.
horses, that is particularly easy because they are big, their hearts are really big, so the signal is really strong, and they have this desire to be in harmony with the herd or the beings that are surrounding them. So dogs, for example, have that too, but dogs try to please their owner usually. And
Mm-hmm.
then with unknown people, they can be really shy, so it's difficult to do this with dogs. And then cats have it also. Everybody who has a cat knows that. But cats are super erratic, so it's hard to create an experience with them. They only will offer it if they want to. And with
Yeah.
horses, there's a lot more guidance
Mm-hmm.
that we can have, and we can ask them to guide us and to support us.
Mm. Yeah, like I would always say, like when people say, but what is energy? Like, what do you mean that I am energy? Okay, fine. You can go to Google, you can go to physics books and learn what, from a physical point of view, energy is. But the simplest thing is to do like this a little bit
Yeah.
and put your hands together and feel the warmth that you have, right?
Mhm.
So you have it, and then you can go and see until where you feel it. And sometimes, depending on how connected you are, and if you focus, you will feel it here, you will feel it here. right? And then you can practice around your body. Like, do I feel the
Yeah,
warmth?
and it feels like there is something physical between your hands, and you can
You
make
can
it,
touch it,
push it
right?
smaller, you can expand it, and it requires focus,
Yes.
but I can feel it quite strongly.
Yeah.
And
And that,
I don't know anything about Reiki, for example, from the practitioner side. I have received Reiki,
yeah.
but I am not initiated or do that. But yeah,
Mm.
we had a very good professor in university in psychology. The only one who was like talking about different stuff, Ken Wilber and these things. And he had us do this exercise. And it was like the first time I'm like, oh, this is a thing. It's not me just being weird.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That happened to me too. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
in university, I mean, we had to be over 20 years old before somebody told us, yes, that is called energy, and there's people who use it for healing, so it's not that you are weird.
Well, but that's the thing as well. It happened to me, that I was lucky that the mother of one of my best friends when I was growing up, she was a Reiki master in my little village in Spain. And
Yeah,
I think she was the only one. So she was seen like as a witch or like a weird woman. But the only thing we knew is that her mother used to have powers in her hands because people
yeah,
would come to her and she would heal them. So for me, I always found it fascinating.
yeah,
So between my group of friends, it was very common that if somebody would have headache or something, I would put my hand because we
yeah,
knew it, we believed it. Like
yeah,
it was her job. Like why wouldn't it work, right? And you are just a teenager. You believe it. I did believe it,
yeah,
and so it's funny like how when I started doing this, well, after my recovery professionally, like this very good friend of mine, she told me, but Maria, don't you remember that we were living together and you would always put your hands on my head? And I didn't even remember. And she was like, you always done it. And I'm like, oh my God, I did
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
go
and
ahead.
me too, and so many other people. Like if you have a pet at home, and the pet is really exaggerating some behavior or is nervous, we naturally put our hand on them to calm them, and
Yeah.
maybe we think that it's, I don't know, creating this physical connection that will actually calm the dog, but that's not it. There is
Mm.
something healing going on. Or with children, when children are sick, then we put our hands on their bodies and help them breathe, or on their heads and calm their pain. And that is our healing abilities. I think that many people are scared, like really not wanting to know about this because it's scary.
Yeah.
Everything, that whole new world that opens, which is, it can be beneficial. I can heal somebody, but maybe I can also use it in a bad way. And maybe
Mm.
somebody else can do something with me that I'm not even aware of because it's just through the energy. So it's a whole
Yeah.
new world that we haven't been trained, as you said, nobody taught us to use it. And that's why it's, I guess, easier for a lot of people to just say, that doesn't exist and I don't believe in it, and just, stop.
I think the first step is this, like, okay, can I feel my energy? And then you feel it, right? So then you can practice different parts of your body. Like, how does it feel if I put my hands here? Do I feel, because there are many sensations. Like for me, for example, now I would say I'm quite connected so that I can feel some sort of electricity or tingling in my hands.
Yeah.
And then, with myself and with others and like different sensations. And then I have these visions. But so yes, first is like, can I feel myself? And then experience connecting with another person's energy. So before you say you think, okay, now I can heal, you need to give a purpose, a direction to the energy as well.
Yes.
So if I just put my hands, it's not just healing, even though you are soothing, it might give you a feeling of soothing, but is also like how I am directing, how I am helping this frequency, this energy to direct into healing, right? The
Mhm.
same way you can direct an energy to move more, to make you more
Yes.
nervous,
Yes.
right? Or
Yeah, and
somebody
that's
can.
why it's so important to learn about it, because it's not just okay, switch on energy and all is good. Because also, once you are getting good at this manifestation and channeling energy, when you have a depleting thought,
Mhm,
like I'm never gonna heal again, or something, which is normal. We all have doubts and worries and all of it. But then if you are open to this channeling, then the worrying thoughts they get stronger, they get more energy as well. And that can be dangerous for ourselves, because then we can like pull ourselves into depressive mode and severe anxiety, because everything that we believe then starts to happen, and then you lose it. So we need to be taught how to regulate it, how to step in and out, and how to switch it on and off.
Mm. So one thing that Dr. Joe Dispenza says is like where you put your attention is where you put your energy. And
Yep.
that's as simple as this. So if your
Yep.
attention is in the worries and the challenges, that is your energy. So you are taking this energy to create something, a new possibility. You're taking it out because you are just focusing on that. So yes, it is really important to understand that you are the one who decides how you want to control your energy
Mhm.
for good, for you to self-regulate 100%. That's super important, and I wish they have told us, not only to
Yep.
me but to all the people I love and I have encountered in my life, how to self-regulate since we were kids, right? Even for kids, I mean, you are a psychologist, you have worked with many people, like how important it would be for kids to know how to self-regulate, or when we are in a teenage times that we are going through crazy emotions because we are discovering what love is, what grief is, what I don't know, all
Yep.
these crazy emotions that we haven't experienced before. And then, you have to be able to go back to your center, like, okay, it's okay to feel this way, but you can also go back and feel good with yourself, right?
Right.
So
Right. And then if we bring it back to the horse world, we
yes,
are both both obsessed with horses, and we apply this energy healing with horses, or energy moving with horses. I think in a session, it's really helpful to have the horses there as a better communicator than myself. So I can step back and let the horses start regulating and start feeling and working with the person. And then it has also completely changed my way of being with horses, understanding about that. And now I'm trying to teach not only how to do therapies or coaching with horses, but also horseback riders or owners. If the horses are so sensitive for that, our thoughts, our intention, may it be intentional or not, influences their behavior in such a dramatic way. And we have learned, those who learned horseback riding, it's like the horses can feel your fear, and that's why you have to be the boss. So there's a little truth in it, but then they
yeah,
take it completely the wrong route.
yeah, yeah,
And I've seen that it's not about pretending. Well, especially not about pretending, because pretending is not true. That's not a true intention. So it's not about trying to conquer the fears and be the most dominant and brave person with the horses. It's about setting your intention on what you want to happen, with or without fear. It doesn't matter. But if I think about, we're going to, I don't know, have a good trail ride and enjoy it, or we're going to clear that jump, or we're whatever you want to achieve. My horse is coming to me because he's so happy to see me. If you think about that, then it will happen. And if you think about, oh, I hope he will and he might not, and this is so dangerous and we might have an accident, then it's way more likely for that accident to actually happen.
yeah. So it's funny because in group sessions, especially, you see sometimes people coming like with their extra confidence that is actually not confidence, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, yeah, I am a horse person. Yeah, horses will come to me or whatever. And then you do an exercise and you have this very shy person, but that she's so in love with life and horses. And then so horses would go to her directly, to this loving, shy person. And then the other person gets frustrated because the horse is not going to her, not doing what she wants. And why? Because the shy person is in love with the present moment. She doesn't expect anything. She's just there with her. She's there in the present, and giving her love. So horses feel that, as you say, and then he will go there like, oh, I like that,
Yeah,
right? Where the other person is trying to create an experience from a lack because she's already thinking, I have to, it has to come to me. So
yeah,
it's already imposing an energy that is not, it's not something that the horse would be attracted to initially,
right.
right? It would
Yes.
be, I mean, if you have these two, like the horse would rather go to this loving person that this other person that has this weird energy. It's not clear, as you say,
Yeah,
what's the
yeah,
intention
yeah,
behind the
yeah.
emotion.
And as soon as it goes into frustration or
Yeah,
doubt,
yeah,
then it gets
yeah,
more complicated. And
yeah,
so there's a few horse trainers who say that horses prefer the least needy leader person horse, etc. And I mean, it also comes into this intention things, what you just said about the loving, shy person. And it's also something about the nature of horses because they have to be completely present. And if
mm,
somebody doesn't need anything, I don't need you near, I don't need you far, I just am. I'm
yeah,
present and I'm confident as I am on my own. That provides a lot of safety
mm,
for the
yeah,
horses.
yeah,
So we see that a lot in our sessions, right? When somebody is usually a therapy client will have some expectations and needs and frustration and desire and all kinds of things, also in their own personal life.
yeah,
So that's why it works when then the horses magically come to you as soon as you are becoming present and looking into your own situation instead of blaming the husband or the boss or the weather or
yeah.
whatever you want to blame.
So again, it's all about, as we say, like going back to the center, being so present that nothing in your environment is affecting you. So you are just so present that you are just enjoying the moment. And that's what we do in our sessions. We allow people to connect to that. That's what the energy healing does as well. Like we help people to tune into the energy field so that they can be themselves with their body. Then the Reiki, the energy healing, it does really connect a lot with the physical body, right?
Mhm.
So like the fact that you are physically, touching it and it feels great. I always say, like, who doesn't feel good with a real love hug,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Oh, well, as you have the energy hug with the horses,
yeah,
but going with people or with the horses, like nothing feels better than a real and true love hug. So that's what I'm saying. We are humans. We have sensory experiences for a reason because we are meant to use it in this world. So yes, energy healing is fantastic in distance, but I totally love the touch. I feel it brings a more experiential experience, right? The
yeah,
same with the Mars method sessions. Like when you are in the paddock, you are experiencing the whole thing with all your senses.
yeah,
Like, for example, if you were in a psychologist's chair where you are not on that incredible environment, even though it can be, of course,
yeah,
very bad.
yeah. And there is something about the grounding experience because when you have your feet outside on the ground and the horses walk on the same ground, you carry your body differently and you are more connected again to the energy of the earth, right? Instead of being in some office, sitting on a chair, feeling disconnected from nature. But then
Yeah.
that alone is something new for most people. And I'm always shocked when there is, for example, we had a yoga group here and they did yoga with the horses. And then after the session, they said, this was amazing. I felt like I was one with nature. I'm like, you are one with nature. You are part of nature, but we're so disconnected from it that it doesn't feel like it, and it's a special experience going outside and feeling like I belong to this, I'm part of nature.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, one of the challenges I see in people as well, and it happened to me when I was a teenager and I was so connected. And then I would start talking to people that they were not connected. They were like, no, you are crazy. So you kind of shut down this
Mhm.
connectedness. So when you are connecting, then things start to happen. And you
Yeah,
may be like, okay, no, that's a coincidence, that's crazy or whatever. But like you can feel connected to the plants in your house.
yeah,
You are more connected to your animals. You are more connected to your kids, to your family. Like there are things that you know things and you know them, and that's it,
yeah,
you know? And
yeah,
and you don't have to question it. That's what I'm inviting people, that when you are open to energy, do not question anything, right?
yeah,
Like just be open to what you are receiving,
yeah,
and be open to the possibility that it might be something, you know, and
yeah,
it might be that your cat is telling you like, I don't like this food, right? Or your horse telling you, like, going back again to the communication between humans and horses, I
mhm,
don't like this stable, or I don't like my new shoes, or whatever it is that the horse needs. Or
yeah,
I always say, like here in Dubai with our beautiful herd, we have one horse that's still from the original herd that we started working with, which is Fabiana. And
mhm,
Fabiana contacts me sometimes, communicates with me when she is not feeling well physically.
yeah,
So she kind of connects with me and she's like, I'm not well. I cannot know exactly what it is. Like, it's not
mhm,
like I have a colic in my stomach or something. I
yeah.
don't know. It's not that clear, but I know that there is a call of attention.
Yeah,
And
and also
so,
because the horse, she doesn't know, like she will feel off. I'm
mm,
not full of energy and happy, but she cannot self-diagnose because she's
yeah,
a horse. So
yeah,
she just feels wrong. And that's the message that we get. Something is wrong. I have that
yeah,
too. I feel
yeah.
that too. When the horses are, and then
You know,
that can be scary.
yeah,
The other night I woke up and the horses were, I woke up and was like, something is happening, something is happening. And then the horses started to whinny and they started to run around. And I thought oh God, I do anticipate the worst. And I went out at night and there were horses running on the street. Well, it's not a street, it's a dirt road. And I
mm,
thought my horses or some of my horses had escaped, but then there were other horses visiting and running up and down on the street, and that created the whole turmoil.
yeah.
But they clearly woke me up
Yeah, like
saying,
something is
something
happening.
is wrong. We need you.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about that, and like, how do they communicate with you? So one thing I know, and is that in order to communicate with an animal or with an emotion, you have to tune into that, or you have to have experience, or you have to have some sort of information about this animal. What I mean is, for example, Fabiana has experienced love with me, and I have done energy healing with her many
Hmm.
times. So
Hmm.
I am sure that when she's in this moment, she's connecting, from her as synaptic connections that she might have. I
Yeah.
don't know if horses have it as well, but some sort of energetic memory that
Yeah.
also, remembers that energy that give her this comfort. And this is me,
Yeah.
this is this moment, this frequency of me. And so that's why they connect with us.
Yeah.
The same with you
Yeah.
take care of the horses, you are their leader, right? You are their
Right.
shepherd, you will take care of
Yeah,
their well.
and also I have a channel open for them and you have a channel open for Fabiana, because otherwise we might hear, the voices of every person and every animal that we have ever worked with, which is not the case. It has to be intentional. Like you
Yeah.
have to, I don't know, commit to answering it or something like that. I always have the problem of believing it.
Mm.
Um I doubt myself and I always have this idea of, well, maybe I'm just inventing it, and I don't know where that comes from, but
Yeah,
um
well, because we are humans and we have not been told that. That's what I'm saying. But like I mean, I always say, and somebody told me lately, like, you shouldn't say that. And I say, no, I should, because I'm still a human and I still have my own imagination. So when I have a Reiki session or even a session energy healing with horses, and I have to tell the owners what I felt or what the horses told me, sometimes are things like he needs to be changed his box, or there's something wrong with the food or something, and they go like, how?
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah.
what I know now by now is like if they have come to us, these my clients, that means they are open to any
Yeah.
possibility. So I have to tell them.
Hmm.
From your side, you receiving things and not believing it. This is because we are always, well, we are used to question, right? But like I 100% invite you, as I say to everybody, to not take it for granted. If this thought came to you, is because there is some sort of frequency in your body or from outside that it's coming to you for a reason. So
Yeah.
it might be maybe exactly what you think. So maybe if you think, as you say, I think of the worst scenario, but then it is not. So of course, I would invite you to not to go on the worst scenario, but rather be like, okay, something is happening because that's what your horses are telling you. And then you just go and learn what's happening,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah. And this energetic communication with the horses, I have used it for also for difficult situations when a horse is, for example, feeling poorly and you see that something is wrong with them. And they call the vet, and the vet says, they are fine, just the worm again. And I'm like, no, 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 that's not it. I have a feeling that there's something wrong that might come from the horse or from me observing their body language, their condition. Once I had a feeling of a horse having cancer or some like tumors in the body, and the vet said, like, you are crazy. What is wrong with you? And examined her and didn't find anything. And then he wanted to take a stool sample because he was like, it's just parasites. It's just parasites. I'm like, no, there is something about tumors, and there's a growth, and this is bad. And he put, when they take a stool sample, they like have to put their hand in. And there he felt a huge melanoma. And he said, oh,
Wow.
if it's that big here in the intestines, there is probably more. So this horse has a lot of melanomas, and that would explain. And he went into his veterinary thinking. I'm like, but that is exactly what I told you, what I had been feeling, that there's
Yeah,
tumors in this horse.
yeah.
But the vets are not really open for that. Or when I have to make a decision, I have rescue horses. So sometimes I have to make a decision about euthanasia. I have to help them transition because they are, I don't know, like I had a horse that had a chronic illness and was getting worse and worse and couldn't really walk anymore or stand anymore. And then she got better, and then she got worse, and then she got better. So I'm checking in, and I'm trying to find the moment, and at some point I know now is the time. But if you
Yeah.
say that, people will be like, how do you know? Are you
Yeah.
making this up? Are you just like explaining because it's so hard? But that's not it. You can feel that
There
that
is a
is.
lot of controversy with this, but also like I feel horses know more like than us. Like for example, I will never forget one time there was a horse with a horrible laminitis here in the vet hospital in Trade Center, no, the official Shakes Vet Center. So I went there for Reiki, and the horse was really lying down, couldn't stand up, with like it was very bad with the how do you call it?
IV. Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
the IV, like so many eyes and the leg like horrible, and it was young. I think it was 5 years old or six maximum. And I went there and it's like, okay, it's just lying down. Doctors were really kind, I have to say. The vets were really kind, but and they let me go in and I went. What I know is that when I was doing the session to him at the beginning, of course, he was really scared, but then he surrendered. And what I remember is like him looking at me and saying like, I didn't understand that until I left, okay? But
Mhm.
I know that he taught me it's okay, I am going to go, but I really, really accept this moment of like support with me. It's almost as if he was telling me like, I am in peace with humans. I know there is goodness in this world. It was something like that. And anyway, so he stood up he made poo, he made pee, and he ate a little bit, which was incredible because he was not standing because of
Mhm.
the pain. You know how it is when it's so bad. And then, so after a couple of days, I left and I had this feeling. I was crying on my way back because it was really difficult. And I was feeling this, I am telling you, like, from one side, it was my human mind very sad of the situation of seeing a
Mhm.
horse in such a pain. But then I had my heart was full of
Mhm.
peace and comfort and so much love, you know. And that's what the horse was telling me. It was so beautiful. And then after 2 days, I got to know that they put him down.
Mhm.
So I was very sad, but I know that this horse left with the love, you know, not he didn't left like thinking that they just left him in the hospital and they just put him down.
Mhm.
There was a beautiful intention and he
Mhm.
recognized everybody who took care of him, and I absolutely love that story, you know. And that's what I tell everybody that needs to make a decision. As you are saying
Yeah.
that there is a moment that, you know,
Mhm.
that's what I also would tell everybody. Like even with dogs it happens,
Yeah.
right? How many
Yes.
people
Yeah.
have like 17 years old dog, 20 years old dog that can't walk, they can't eat. Poor dogs, and the owners are not doing it, but because maybe they are too much in their mind, in their human mind. So connect to the heart. Do you feel this love? And you know, sometimes the animals are ready to go, but the humans are not letting them go too.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Very often. Very often. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you think somebody who is like starting in this and maybe listening and not really sure, can everybody do this? How can I learn it? What would you suggest? I mean, you said start with feeling the energy between the
Yeah.
hands and
Mm.
trust the thoughts or feelings that you get.
Mm.
And then I would add like connect to like-minded people, connect to people who are in that same realm, right? Instead of trying
So
to convince those who have never heard about it, because that's a hard conversation.
the community in the world and the awareness is changing dramatically. You can now find a lot of information, science-based studies of the power of meditation, of you know, so many things that are really all about the our inner world, which
Mhm.
is the one that we are and we know the less. All right, we know a lot about the outer world, but the inner world we don't. So I would go back to the origin of like, you are energy, we are all energy, so do not be afraid of it. And again,
Mhm.
experiment, experience. If you are in a moment that you are going through some bad times, then what does it cost you to spend 5 minutes and put your hands in the place where you feel the where is the disturbance, right? Like, cheers. Sometimes it's okay, your microphone? Okay. Sometimes when you everybody with every emotion it comes a discomfort in one part of the body, right? So if you
Mhm.
are able to identify that, let's say, for example, you are very, very stressed at work, right? And then so you really need to calm down because now you are like your emotions are out of control, you can't eat, you are like angry, like you are horrible. And you say like, okay, I remember this energy thing, what do I do? Okay, find this place in your body that you feel worst. And sometimes it's actually the heartbeat. You may feel it here, you may feel it here, you may feel it in your stomach. Where is it?
Mhm.
Find this place that it has pain and put your hands there and just close your eyes and tune into this. Like, for example, I love the ears. You know, the ears is something I do in all my sessions because we hear and we tell ourselves a lot of lies. And
Mhm.
it's a beautiful place of healing, you know. So in your ears or anywhere and like tune into that and connect to this warmth from your hands and allow this energy and this feeling to grow, you know, and give it a couple of minutes. You can put some music, relaxing music, anything,
Mhm.
meditation music, and that will really soothe you. So if this works and you just dedicated 5 minutes, but it helped you,
Yeah.
then consider doing it more. So it's baby steps, right?
Yeah.
And as you
Yeah.
say, connect with people that are in this, and you will see that you are not alone.
Yeah. And start to really regulate your own energy before you do things. Um, without believing that once I understand this, I will always be able to regulate it, or I will always manage it. That's not true. That's a
Yeah.
fantasy, but we can be more mindful about it and regulate ourselves before we do horseback riding or go into work or talk with our kids or
Mm,
any interaction, or before we are with ourselves also.
yeah. And for all the riders, like I would say, or horse people are, as you said, like of course they can tune into our emotions like
Mhm.
this, right? That's how
Mhm.
they communicate in, I mean, among other like physical communication, body language. But especially for riders, like if you're gonna go for a ride, be aware that we have energy centers in our body, and each energy center is connected to different hormonal centers and different emotions.
Yes.
So for instance, if we go to our first center, which they call it as well our sacral chakra, right? Sacral, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I call them now energy centers instead of the chakras, and I forgot the first one. Okay, anyways, the first one, the lower one, I think it's the sacral, yeah.
It's also.
So, so no, it's not the sacral. Sorry. Anyways, it's fine. You go to the first center and think the first center is at the base of our spine, right? And when you are writing, you are putting this energy center of fear and insecurity and anger also somehow on top of the back of the horse,
Yeah.
where the center of wholeness, the solar plexus or the third center, the center that is like the full making fulfilled in life, making that you have a feeling that you have a purpose. So if you are really feeling, all these bad feelings about you, of fear, of insecurity, of anger, of whatever it is, of lack, like don't put that on top of the horse,
Yeah.
because he's giving you his all. And we need to think also, when we ride, the horse has a blockage in his sixth center, has a blockage in his mouth on the communication, has certain blockages in different parts of the body.
Yeah.
So just be very mindful of that, and don't be egoistic. Like if one day you don't have to ride, then you don't ride, and
Yeah.
just stay with the horse as your partner, and you
Yeah.
will see how good it
Yeah,
can be.
and everything that you just said also applies to, unfortunately, to equine therapy. When they put kids that are really anxious, they put them on the horse, they ask the horse to stand still and be really regulated, and then you block their whole healing
Yeah,
energy and their participation in the session, when it's so easy to first connect the kids from the ground with the horses and ask the horse to come in as a partner, and then you mount them. So yeah, there's a lot that has to change still in our lives, but
yeah.
we're on it. We're on it. Yes,
I had
we're on
one of these experiences, and I was really happy that I managed to change the dynamics of that
it. Mhm.
session with your method, so that I could put a girl that was not, I mean, her muscles didn't work, so she couldn't move her body, and they were putting her on
Mhm.
top of the horse, so she was like really whoa, like wobbly and crying, and really
Yeah.
fearful. Then I just hold her in my hands and put her next to the horse, and I told all the volunteers, either you join the club of the energy like connection, or you just leave me with her. And
Good
so
job.
no, really, it was incredible. And then I had this amazing moment of the girl started slowing, as you know, the heart rate. And then suddenly she couldn't even look, like focus her look before or move her hands. And then she started looking at the horse. And then she started moving a little bit the hand like that.
Mhm.
And it was incredible. Everybody around saw it and they were actually crying, and
Mm.
they were like, that was incredible. And I'm like, it's as simple as being patient and just
Yeah.
connecting.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the theater holds beautiful sessions, and I invite everybody who is listening to that to discover more about Mars method and everything that Christina teaches. hard math is super interesting as well.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. I think the best way, I mean, I do have the certification training that you know because you went through it. But that's kind of, for somebody who's really committed and who really wants to go that route as a career. But I have a small course on Udemy that is just 3 hours long and not expensive at all. So you can watch that in a weekend, and that gives you all the basics of the foundations, how you can start to communicate with your horses in that different regard, what heart math can do, how to integrate it, and a couple of exercises that we also do in the certification training. So I think that is the best way to start. It's called Healing with Horses. So
amazing. So, with this being said, just one more thing. There is a beautiful documentary called
yes,
Rescue Hearts, right?
yes,
Which talks about the powerful um, things that people are doing around the world with horses
yeah.
to heal, and it's all about them and humans. And so they can go and watch it. And
Yeah, it will come out in September, so there's still a little wait. But I have seen so many documentaries about horses, but that is the one that is completely aligned with everything that we just said. It's beautifully filmed. It's just we're all gonna cry. Everybody's gonna cry who watches it. It's so beautiful. Rescued Hearts, and yeah, maybe we can organize a screening or something, but that is going to be, I think, an important piece to educate people and to, change the equestrian world into this direction.
absolutely.
Yes.
So that's it. I could talk for hours really
Yes, me
about
too. Me too. But
mine.
thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. And yeah, let's do it again. It doesn't matter if it's on Instagram or maybe here it's less complicated. So
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that we're going to reach other people that will have this frequency of tuning into this video and then get to know us. So,
yes.
because YouTube has a different channel, right? Like YouTube, Google, than Instagram. So, hello, everybody who you are new to us. You are not alone. And I hope you had enjoyed this incredible talk with Cristina Marz and me, Maria or Mayu.
Thank you, Mayu. Thank you so much. And we'll put our Instagram handles and everything in the comments under the video.
Super. Thank you.
Thank
Much love,
you.
everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.